like whatever, 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And then at the end they have like a boxing match, right? And they were.
I heard about this. My brother mentioned it to me recently. He was like, "I want to do this."
Yeah,
it is pretty cool.
I think it's not. I would like maybe do it, but
yeah, I would do it if I had someone to do it with.
I would maybe do it with you, but I would have to know like the match. Like I would need assurances.
What if you ended up against me?
I don't mind, but I think I'm
Who
winning.
would beat who? Just say it.
No, but it's like they might pair you with someone like I know they're supposed to match it, but
thing.
like maybe they don't have someone, so then they're just like the next closest person, and they might be way bigger than you.
Because I don't think it's just like weight class. I think it's a mixture of both weight class plus your actual ability as a boxer.
But if we're beginners, they're not going to put you against someone who's like really good.
No.
They would probably put you, if anything, against a guy who's smaller but better.
Yeah. It also depends how long you've been boxing for.
Yeah,
some people
true.
like obviously join the camp, and then only been boxing for the duration of the camp.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas there've been people that have been boxing for like years.
I've been like shadow boxing for years.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like just like boxing against the air.
Oh, okay. Like, every day or how often?
Nah, just like, you know those Rocky movies? Like when those come on? You know what I mean? Yeah, I throw a couple.
Brilliant.
Class. Well, welcome on the show.
Thank you.
It's great to have you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So how did you come? How did we get you on the show? If you want to explain.
Yeah. I think through Maria Mann, who's my friend, from my parish in Fairview. She's really sweet. She's great, and I'm friends with her boyfriend as well, Jude, who I actually live with in a house share. So she mentioned it to me only like a week ago or something, and I think she was supposed to come on maybe, or she was thinking to do it at some point.
Your Maria is like...
I'm in Maria. Yeah, she should be here, right? So then she said it to me, and I was like, sounds kind of interesting, sounds fun. Like I said, I haven't watched the show, so...
Yeah.
But yeah, happy to be here.
Great. And could you tell us, because obviously our listeners don't know much about you, would you be able to tell us a little bit about sort of who you are and where you come from?
Yeah, absolutely. I come from Waterford City, just outside the city in the suburbs. I grew up there, went to school there, of course. I went then, after my leaving cert, I went to Spain for a little while. Yeah, I didn't go straight to university, so I went off to Madrid and I worked there for a bit. And then...
And what'd you do there?
What did I do there? I was an au pair. Okay, so minding kids, nice. yeah, in a little village outside the city centre. It was actually a really cool experience. Yeah.
That is cool. Did you speak Spanish well?
I didn't speak a word of Spanish when I went, because I'd studied French in school. Yeah.
What was the incentive to go to Spain?
Adventure?
Yeah.
Not knowing what I wanted to do with my life, kind of, at that point. Like, you know, everyone, we were saying earlier, everyone goes to college, but that just didn't work out, I guess, really. So I went to Madrid. Really, I was blessed actually, because the family were so good to me. They were so nice, and we're still in touch this day. So that's really nice. Yeah.
Wow.
And how did you like find them? Did you just put up like a flyer?
Oh,
or what?
Yeah. So my mom, she would have done a few like student exchanges and things like that. Like we would have invited students into our house when we were growing up and stuff, like international students. So then she knew an agent, and then through a contact like that, I can't really remember, but they knew this family that wanted an English-speaking au pair to come and live with them, and they were well trusted. It was like family friend of the agent and blah blah blah. So then I went, and I remember I was so determined not to be homesick. You know, I was like, it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be fine. And then like 2 weeks in, I wasn't fine. Right. Yeah, it was really tough.
Yeah, and especially when you don't speak the language.
Yeah, it was a lot, but little by little. They paid for my lessons. That was really nice. Your
Spanish lessons?
Yeah. Started in Spanish lessons, and got pretty good. Got all right at it in the end. Yeah.
Nice.
And then crazy story. After that year in Madrid, like I'd always been talking to my parents back home, like about Spain and stuff. Like it's great, it's the best place ever, and it's a different lifestyle here, and all that kind of thing. And I was like, if you're ever going to relocate, you know, you should do it now while the kids are young. Like, you might as well do it if you're ever going to do it. So they actually moved from Ireland, my little brother and sister. They were 7 and 9, Neve and Killian, and my mum and dad. They actually moved to Alicante, South Coast.
Interesting.
Wow. Yeah.
And they're there now?
They're actually not there anymore.
Okay.
But they did stay for 4 years, and
That's
even
crazy.
Killian went to school there and everything.
Wow.
And yeah, they got very good at Spanish, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, fluent.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that was a bit of an adventure. But yeah, I mean, then like I spent some time traveling around. I spent some time in the Netherlands as well, in Delft, in a city. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you ever been to the Netherlands?
No.
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 Oh.
I've only been to Europe like twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Outside of Ireland, you mean, like different
mainland.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Beautiful city if you ever get the chance. Really. Yeah.
What,
Quaint.
were you just working in Netherlands or?
Au pair again. Yeah.
Okay.
This time though, hockey was the motive because I wanted to get better at field hockey, and hockey or Netherlands, Holland
They're
rather,
like
is the
the
best,
main ones.
Yeah, best place to do that. So
why is that? Just because they're tall? Or?
why is that?
Just because they're tall.
Is it their national sport? I guess it ought to be. It struck me though when I was there, because like little kids would be going around with like hockey sticks like that length. Like it was
Okay.
just everyone played hockey.
Interesting.
Yeah, like it was everyone cycled and everyone played hockey. Yeah. The club actually I played in, it's called Hudato, and it had I think 12 female teams. Or was it 9? Maybe I think it was like 12 or was
That's
it
a lot.
14? It was crazy, yeah. I mean my club Clontarf, I think it has 4 female teams.
That's still pretty good.
That's really
still
good.
decent.
I feel like
yeah.
more than I feel like one full team is kind of
Really?
But when you're part of like a university or something, it makes sense.
a
why those
university,
things
yeah.
have-
But if it's just a club team,
Yeah.
4 is a lot.
I think that's pretty common to have more than 4 in Ireland. You'd have like an A, B, C, D team, probably more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's a lot.
Is it?
I guess for hockey, it is a little niche in all fairness. Sometimes I have to
I
say
think
to
it's a
people,
niche
field hockey.
sport.
They're like, ice hockey? And you're like, no, field hockey.
Right.
It's kind of niche. Although it is growing now, like we were saying earlier about
I would
the
say
women.
among girls in particular.
in
like,
Dublin, maybe it's like the main one.
I think it's pretty.
It's big and it's
Yeah.
the biggest in Leinster.
okay.
Yeah, like I don't think there's barely any hockey clubs in Connacht. Maybe one in Galway.
Right.
Right.
Sorry to people in Connacht if that's wrong.
Oh.
Fair enough. And have you grown up playing hockey then? That's been your main sport?
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Okay.
When I was 12, I started in first year in secondary school. Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite PE teacher, actually, Mr. Kassan, he was really into hockey. He had studied in England to be a PE teacher, and so he brought hockey to the school, which was a little uncommon because it's usually GAA.
Right.
Yeah.
And but that was just his passion. He just loved hockey. So yeah, there was the girls' hockey team, and
Yeah.
well, started from there. Yeah, haven't
Okay.
stopped since.
Fair.
And so you were in the Netherlands, and then
Yeah.
what happened after that?
After the Netherlands, I was like, okay, I've got to make a plan here for my actual life. So then I came back to Dublin, and like I was working and saving up with the goal to go to DCU and fulfill my dream, which kind of was my dream ever since I was in secondary school, to be a PE and biology teacher. That was always the course.
Okay.
I was like, imagine if I could do that, which I just graduated from last
Hey,
week. Is that pretty cool?
congratulations.
Wow,
Yeah.
congratulations.
So then came back to Dublin, and I was working in a bunch of companies, getting different experiences. That was a really fun time, actually, like little
Right.
interim, like saving and thinking, oh, I'd love to get into college
Mm-hmm.
Right.
as a mature student, but had to
Yeah.
wait till I was 23, so there's a few
Okay.
years, yeah. And then I started in DCU, and then I just graduated, and now I'm teaching.
You're teaching.
Yeah,
That's
Fair.
amazing.
And what do you teach?
PE and biology.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, they're a nice combo, actually. They kind of feed off one another in a sense.
I was gonna say,
yeah, don't they?
Yeah, because I did both of those subjects with Leaving Cert, and I would say obviously more so biology came in handy for PE as opposed to vice versa.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of common things in both the subjects, and
Yeah.
PE is ridiculously. It's a really new subject. We were talking about this earlier. It's
Brand new.
literally just like maybe 3-4 years old, if even.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really, yeah.
And if you haven't gotten a chance to teach PE yet, or
Actually, I did teach some fifth years when I was on my school placement in final year of
Okay.
college. But since I've actually qualified, the school I'm in, they don't offer LCPE.
Cool.
So I don't teach it. But to be honest, that's not something I'm disappointed about.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah. I teach junior cycle PE, and that's so much fun. Like that kind of is like
Right.
has no boundaries. Like you can just the kids just want to have fun and run around at the
Nice.
end of the day.
Is that a proper subject now? As like for PE for the junior student?
JCP, it's always kind of been like, it's doesn't have an exam, but it is
Right,
still
okay.
necessary on the curriculum. Like it's part of the curriculum, but it
Okay.
just doesn't have an assessment, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Very
Yeah.
nice.
So how much of it is like playing sports and stuff versus like like, because when I was in school, it was like health and then like playing sports.
That's very good. Yeah. Well, that's kind of a tricky question because it kind of depends on what teacher you are, because you kind of
you
like,
can pick.
Well, you kind of are. It's pretty flexible. Like you have full reign to be creative, but there is no theory, is what the answer is. There's no theory embedded in. This is junior cert PE now. I mean, yeah, and even really senior cycle PE. There's kind of a difference between senior cycle PE and LCP, like leaving cert PE, which has the exam. But there's no theory, but should you teach them about health? Yeah, definitely. There's actually a module called HRA, health related activity, which I just did with my first years. And it's teaching them about, like, you know, how often should you engage in physical activity, like a week, or how many minutes of physical, moderate to vigorous physical activity a day is necessary. I actually really got them to learn it off, so it's really good. But it's cool because what you can do is you can really trick the student, and embed the learning in like a game.
Right.
And they're just tricked into learning it then. They don't even know.
Do you know what Kahoot is?
Yeah, I love Kahoot.
Do you ever use Kahoot?
Yeah, sometimes.
Did you ever use Kahoot?
Yeah, we've used Kahoot.
I loved Kahoot.
Did you?
I think I was in school like when it first like became on its rise.
Really?
And that was like our favorite thing.
No, Kahoot was definitely it was a thing when I joined school. So I wasn't. Yeah.
When you joined
it was probably
school?
established.
Yeah.
I never ever witnessed Kahoot in my time in secondary school.
Really?
Never.
No, it's a big thing now.
I feel like it started like 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I did my leaving cert in 2013.
Okay.
So would have. Yeah.
What was I gonna ask? I was gonna ask something there. It's gone off my mind. Something about PE.
JCPE, HRA.
No. Oh, right. I was going to say, because going to the gym is like, I'm just using this as an example.
Gym lad, you know what I mean?
But like, if you're someone that wants to start going to the gym, or just wants to start, like taking care of their fitness, that initial going to the gym bit is a really hard step to take. But in my experience with like junior cycle PE and leaving cert PE, if you have the facilities for a gym in your school, and that's part of the curriculum to like teach students how to go to the gym and how to like approach their
important. Yeah,
that would be cool.
It's really, really cool, because then when they get out of school and they actually want to join a proper gym, it's a lot easier for them because they've done it already.
Totally agree.
Whereas that initial step can be hard for people that don't have that.
Right.
Yeah, and you'll find that generally with people, like, it's a confidence thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's about knowing, because if you know that you can succeed, let's say, then you're more inclined to go for it. But that was a lot. We did a lot of that in university, actually, the psychology behind motivation and things like that, to be physically engaged and to go to the gym and things like that. But the barriers, there's a lot for people. But actually, funny you mentioned that as well, because I'm doing this module with my LCAs, leaving cert applied.
Okay.
So that's not the non-traditional leaving cert, the leaving cert applied, and they're my 5th and 6th years. We don't have a gym in my school. We actually don't have the best equipment in my school for PE, but there's a local gym, St. Catherine's, and I rang them up, and they're just letting us go up there for my double PE.
That's cool.
And you should have seen the difference actually between the girls on the first day we went up there and up until now. Like, we just finished that module up. Well, kind of. We might actually continue it just before midterm break. And like, they're going into the gym now and they're just like totally confident and like using the machines. They're like, changing up the things. Because, it takes time to sit into a machine and be like, oh, how does this work? And
the main thing that's on your mind is, I don't mind going. It's just, I just want to do it correctly. And it's just that fear of doing something wrong.
That's
it,
yeah.
The biggest
and looking silly, I think, kind of.
Yeah.
For
sure.
But it's really cool to see that in the girls. And they kind of said to me like, oh, Miss, we go to the gym sometimes, like, outside of school now. Cool.
That's really cool.
Isn't that sweet?
Class.
Yeah. That's like a nice moment, I think, when students say things like that to you.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you ever play like dodgeball in gym?
Dodgeball? Actually, for some reason in my school, they love dodgeball.
Yeah, because that was
really fun.
Dodgeball was like
dodgeball is fun.
Yeah.
Level.
It was
sport.
like, it's one of the two I
it
think
was
that
so
you want to
fun.
play in PE as a child. Soccer.
I didn't like playing soccer in school.
Everyone wants to play football. You can't say soccer in my school. It's football, miss.
Okay.
Really?
Oh, they laugh at me all the time. They're like, soccer? Who is this girl?
I thought it would be the opposite.
No, if you're from Dublin, it's football, I guess.
Well, if you're from Dublin, I suppose.
Yeah.
To be fair, in my school, it was
Soccer?
I thought it was predominantly soccer.
Well, if you say soccer, you know, that speaks to...
Speaks to everyone. Yeah. Actually, one thing I was going to ask was, how have you sort of... Because you obviously, you know Maria through the Fairview Church.
Yes.
Or the church in Fairview.
Mm-hmm.
What's kind of... How has the church sort of played a role in your life growing up?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. It's actually... It's a funny story because, like, I grew up, you know, in a lapsed Catholic home, really. You know, like my mom grew up as Catholic, and my dad, but we wouldn't really have practiced. Like, we used to go to mass sometimes, but then that kind of fell off, and then, you know, you just go Christmas or something, and it wasn't part of our lives really at all. But I'd say back, I'm not sure what year, but like maybe like 5 or 6 years ago or something, like my older brother Sean, the two of us kind of discovered, you'll laugh, Jordan Peterson.
Okay.
You know him?
Yeah.
You've heard of him. So, like, we started to, like, read his book, and then, like, we were listening to his YouTube stuff, and we just kind of got a little bit into, like, well, we were just interested in, like, what he had to say, you know, and, like, this message of, like, you can take responsibility for your life, like, and it'll be better and stuff. And we were like, wow, that's so amazing. Never heard that before. And then, yeah, I remember we went for my mom's 50th over to Manchester on a little trip, and we're like squished into this hotel room, and my brother, again, my older brother, he picked up, you know, the Bible that sits in the hotel rooms, you know, picked up the Bible, and he was like reading through it and like reading out stuff, and I remember being like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, stop, what are you doing? And he was like, no, there's actually good stuff in here.
Yeah.
And it just, our lives just rolled like that. I remember the first time we went back to Mass in Sandyford, where I used to live, Southside Dublin. Actually, not far from here, right? Just going to Mass and just like being like, there's so many people here. Like, what's going on? And listening for the first time. That was something I never did in Mass when I was a kid.
Right.
I just never listened.
Yeah, you're just kind of there.
You're totally passive. I mean, I don't know if that was just me. I'm
I think that's common.
Yeah, that is right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm a particular daydreamer, I would say, and struggle with listening. But and listening for the first time and being like, whoa, this is really, there's a lot in this, and this is meaningful. And just little by little like that, like, it was incredible. Started going back to Mass. And
at what stage of your life did this happen?
This is literally just, it's just like full on, like, happened within the last 2 years properly.
Okay.
Properly, yeah. But it all started like little by little, like 5 years ago. Yeah.
Interesting.
So what's really like expedited the whole, well, not, I don't want to call it a process, but kind of like, I would say my journey, like spiritual journey, is that 2 summers ago I was asked to work down in Glenstall Abbey. I don't know if you've heard of it, down in Limerick. Have you been there?
I think I have.
When
I was a little kid.
Oh, nice. Okay,
cool.
I feel like it's like on a lake or something, right?
There's a lake on the grounds, yeah. I think there's a couple of lakes.
I think I visited.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
It's the nicest place ever. It's so nice. Yeah. Have you visited?
No, I was gonna say we had a few people come up to UCD to visit from there.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of a weird like bunch of circumstances. Like, I wasn't even meant to go there that summer.
Right.
I was meant to be working in Malahide for this company, and kind of last minute they said like, oh look, would you be able to help out in one of our residents, you know, one of the summer camps down in Limerick and the Glenstall Abbey? And I was like, I've never even heard of this place. I'm paying rent in Dublin. I was kind of like, I don't really, what?
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what, I'll just give it a try, and it'll be, you know, I'll agree to just do like a week there or something. And then I got down there, and Benedictine monks. I was like, So I Googled that to be like, are these even Catholics? Like, what? And just started going to all the offices, or not started going to all the offices, but I went there for the first time, and I was just blown away by just the whole spiritual life of these monks. Like, and then I met a few of them, and like, I don't know, it was just, it changed everything in a way, you know, it really did change everything. But yeah, needless to say, I rang back the company. I was like, yeah, can I actually stay for the full month? Like, I really want to stay here, actually. Like, I don't want to come back to Dublin, like I had previously said. But yeah, and then I've like brought my family there and stuff, and gone on retreat there, and that's just led to a whole new like kind of side of like discovery, I would say. I was just on retreat in Kylemore Abbey actually on the weekend.
Okay.
If you've ever been there.
I have, I think.
Oh, you have? Yeah, in Galway.
I think I've been there.
Oh, nice. Well, what were you doing there?
It's like a site. It's like a site that people go to.
Yeah,
right?
it's also like a history tour kind of you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But there's Benedictine monks there who I stayed with.
Okay.
They were so nice. They were so great.
So
yeah. I recommend anyone going there.
You were saying when your brother opened the Bible, you were a bit like taken back by it.
Totally.
Yeah. What was your view of the church before? Your experience.
Good question. I would say, like, I was the student in my religion class in secondary school that was like really putting it to my religion teacher and being like, what do you mean, like,
right.
and how can you answer this, and how can you tell me that, you know, and all that. The thing is, my dad and still to this day is an atheist, so he's not in faith, which is like whatever, you know, maybe someday, still praying for him. But yeah, so we would have grown up kind of with like this hard, cold, like scientific view on the world, and that's kind of where it ends, you know, that it's just like this materialist, not material place, let's say, or something. So my view would have been actually quite negative and definitely skeptical and kind of like, I don't really know about this.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's been actually like a struggle as well for me, you know, like that takes time, like to change your lens, like your view on the world, you know.
Yeah.
Like since.
And what were some of the aspects of the church that like drew you to the church?
Everything. I mean, yeah, like just the Christian teaching of like, that's a deep question, actually. I don't really know how to even break it down, but
yeah, I mean, it is quite a,
isn't it?
Like, there is so much you could potentially say. We've had so many people on this show, and it's kind of a question that we ask a lot of them.
What's the answer for you?
I don't know if I would say that. Well, I mean, what are the most attractive ones to me as a Catholic? Because I don't think I never sort of strayed away from the faith.
Yeah.
There was never like a, you know, I didn't need a teaching to like draw me back into the faith.
Right.
But like to me at the moment, I would say it would be the Eucharist.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's the answer for a lot of people as well.
And that's probably the biggest differentiator from Catholics to Protestants, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, what would it be for you?
I think like similar to you. Like I never really.
Right, because that was kind of like a thing when you were sort of deciding, because when you were sort of researching the Eucharist. Yeah. Yeah, that was like, because you got into it I think a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah. I had more. I was raised Catholic, but I had more like Protestant theological agreements when I was a teenager.
Interesting.
Just because I wasn't very knowledgeable on like why the church taught what it did.
You were in rebellion.
No,
like Martin Luther, you know.
It wasn't rebellion. It was just ignorance.
Wow.
I just wasn't like very knowledgeable on like why they taught what they did. Like I mean, I've said this before, but I didn't even know, like, I just thought there's the Bible. I didn't even know that the catechism existed. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh yeah, you could just read the Bible. But yeah, obviously that's very short-sighted. Yeah. But sure. But yeah, then what kind of made me like totally accept the authority of the church is, if you look at like the, I think, original Greek like New Testament, when they're talking about the Eucharist, Jesus says to like gnaw my flesh, which to me was clear that that's not like symbolic, because if you say eat my, like eat can be, oh maybe it's symbolic, but when he says like gnaw my flesh, like that's very clearly not symbolic, like it's very clearly literal. So that's kind of it's a big factor.
Interesting.
Yeah. What's been your experience with the Eucharist? Any when you sort of came back and decided to, after your experience at Glenstal Abbey, because I feel like when people really truly find out what the Eucharist is, that first experience is often quite a powerful experience.
Right.
Did you have anything like that, or?
I wouldn't say any like major one moment, but I would just say going to mass and kind of being more awake and alive, like in the sacrament, and like being attentive to what's happening rather than passive like I was for so long. I think that in itself, that's something like I'm working on still, you know, but I think like when you open yourself up like during mass, I think that is really powerful and really beautiful part of it. But
sure,
it's deep, isn't it? Kind of beyond belief. Like it's.
A lad said to me the other day, like if we truly understood what was happening in mass, I think our minds would kind of explode.
Right.
Because I think we can, as Catholics, like we can acknowledge that's the true presence of Christ in the Eucharist. But like when you're going to mass every Sunday and going to mass even sometimes every day, you kind of just become oblivious to that.
You're desensitized to it.
Yeah, so it's like it's not having as much of an effect as it maybe did at the start when you're like, wow, that's the true body of Christ. So like if we actually found out what was happening, it would be
yeah. No, I think so.
Cool. We have
2 minutes left. Oh snap, look at that officialness.
Thomas said to me beforehand,
Tomas has an official sign saying 2 minutes left.
Laminate that.
Don't ever throw it away. Thomas's whole purpose behind that was so we didn't mention his name and we didn't.
Oh snap. Bob.
Yeah, there you go.
Bob with the sign. Nice.
Let's give. Wait, what did the other one say?
Yeah, I'm interested now.
Invite new guests. Oh right.
What
so
does
if
that
you
mean?
want to, I'll let you do it.
If anyone's watching and you're like, oh snap, I want to come on Encounter, please get in touch with us. We're going to be sharing our contact details on the screen now.
Give contact details.
You've got to.
I was ahead of him. Tomas is rattled.
Anything else, Tomas?
And also, we have our contact details on screen. Please get in touch if you would like to support us financially as well. We greatly appreciate all the help, and then we get a fancy new camera.
Ooh, why not?
Improve our video quality. You know what I mean? So you can see our beautiful faces in 4K.
4K.
Ooh, 4K.
I don't know what that means.
Can you ask me back when you get the 4K?
4,000 pixels, right?
Yeah, it must
4K
be.
pixels.
4K.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I feel like I
Thomas
asked
would know.
someone
Thomas
and they told me.
4K.
Yes.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
feel like I
4,000
asked
pixels.
you and you told me that. Someone told me that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Go with that.
thank you for joining us for
Thank you
Encounter
for
Today. Thank you
coming
very
on.
much, Ciara, for
Thank
coming
you
on.
so
We
much
really
for having
enjoyed
me.
having you on.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Do you have any words of wisdom you'd like to leave our listeners with?
Ooh, wow. The flesh is weak, but the spirit is willing. How about that? Go with that.
Nice.
Take that.
Good.
Okay. God bless. Take care.
Take care.